Hello, everybody. I think I'm going to pop over to the chat scene real quick before we hop in. So give me a second here. There we go. That's better. Um, we won't have chat in the overlay because I'm still trying to figure out the best place for chat and stream. And I'm going to see if anybody else is going to show up. I put out a few things to get people in, but I'm relatively still a small streamer at this point, so I don't expect a ton of attention. But if anybody comes in, is your first time here, welcome in. If you're returning and you're here for the division info, we'll get right into it. I'm going to try to make it not too long. There is a lot to cover, but I think that by the end of this, anybody's confused about the recalibration bench and stuff, we'll see it's really quite simple. I just don't think Ubisoft did a good job of showing everything that there was clearly. They just were like, here's this thing, enjoy. And I think there are some players who are so into the game, they just naturally got it. And then there are regular people like me that kind of got it, but didn't understand all the ins and outs. Pardon me. So if we get into more meat of the topic, if you will. So we are here on a Sunday, which would normally be a monologue night. We are going to take some breaks from those as we can, because I don't want every Sunday night to be monologue. So yeah, and then you didn't get it at all. Yeah, it was too complicated. They made it too complicated and not explaining enough. So, are there YouTube videos out there now of how it works? Kind of. The people that I've seen explain it go a little bit too over it too quick. I watched a great video today that was 10 minutes long, and while he explained the overall aspect of what it was, he failed to get the in-betweens. He explained where you can farm, but not what you need to farm. And he did a good job of explaining some of it, but not some of the other ins and outs. There's some little details that help greatly, so we're going to get into that. To make a comment briefly about the whole thing that's going on Twitter, if you guys don't follow Twitter, since I've been back into streaming now, I've changed my approach to how I'm doing this, which means paying a lot more attention to the community that is Twitter, which is kind of the Twitch community, because that's the only place where people can really say anything. I suppose if there was another component to Twitch where people could talk to each other better besides the streams, it'd be there. But so far, Twitter's kind of the backbone of that. And so there was the debate over whether or not, people should lurk or not. And my thing on that is lurk away. If it's getting views on the channel, it doesn't matter. Same with, I talked to, or I didn't really talk to anybody. I commented on a tweet about somebody saying, do you want graphic designers following you, essentially? And yeah, I want anybody to follow me. Here's the thing. It's a cyclic community, right? If I have 25 graphic designers following me and half of them lurk, that's still views on my video. That's still ad revenue. So it's still something. And I say ad revenue because I think that's where a lot of people fall into wanting to know about is like, how do I make money using Twitch? That's part of what it is. You do want active people who might sub. They don't have to. Maybe the ads, if they're in, obviously if they sub, they don't have to view ads. So that's kind of a benefit to them. But the thing is you want people viewing your channel. And additionally, I haven't, the image that I have that I'm using, that's weird. The chat got delayed. What happened? Okay, looks like we're good now. I forgot what I was going to say. Let me read Ice's comment here. Let's see what we got. Nice. Very nice, man. Sorry. It's a cyclic relationship. If I have a bunch of graphic designers, graphic artists that are making logos in there, I can probably help them as I gain exposure too, and they understand that. You don't see many graphic designers, I haven't anyway, complaining about, I'm following this guy, but he hasn't bought anything from me. My graphic that I have, the Power Thumbs logo, is one that a friend drew for me, and I cherish it and I enjoy it. Will it change eventually? Probably. That's still going to be hanging around somewhere, but eventually it will. But I don't want to invest an overly large amount of money into graphic design at this point to make the channel better, because I don't think that's affecting viewership. Yes, it makes somebody look awesome, but it doesn't mean they're putting out good content, and it doesn't matter that they don't have everything else in line. That's the thing is you got to get a feel for what you're going to do. And speaking to that, that's why Sundays have become what they come. I want Sundays to be more instructional. I want them to be monologues. I want them to be more engaging. 2 days of the week, I just want to play games on stream and show people how I play games. Doesn't mean I'm the best at it or I'm even good at it. I just want to do that, and people want to see that. They want to see you play games. But one night of the week, I want to put more into it. So that's why tonight is a Q&A session. And because we put stuff on YouTube at this point, I'll mention that, is that if you're watching us on YouTube, leave comments. As I always say, if I'm doing something and you think I'm wrong, great, put it in a comment and tell me, hey, this is wrong and here's why. As long as it's constructive and it helps everybody, go for it. If it's negative, it's not helping anybody, the comment's going to get removed. Things like that are going to be gotten rid of. I want to help everybody with what knowledge I may have. I think everybody can contribute something in almost anything, even if it's not the biggest deal. At least it's a small bit of progress. It helps. So that's kind of what I'm after on these nights, Sunday nights in particular. You want to call my content negative on some of the monologues, go ahead, but explain to me why. Tell me why you think I'm wrong. I'm all for that input. I am pretty good with criticism compared to a lot of people. So we gotta stay hydrated, guys. So, speaking of that, though, coming up, I think one thing we're gonna do is I want to do a stream encouraging newer streamers. I know it sounds ridiculous because I don't have a lot of people on all the time, but even if it doesn't get much view there, I'd like to have it in my repertoire of videos that people can go view of, what to focus on, what to look at, how cheap your setup can be. I have not spent much on my setup. And for those that are nervous, I see a lot of posts about people saying they're so nervous about streaming. I have the stuff, but I'm nervous about streaming. I worry about, different things. I gotta cover up my laptop, I think. Nope, we got something sticking out. I don't know what. Oh, it's a tie. Hold on, guys. I didn't realize that was up that high. Ooh, got a couple of those. Yeah, I saw a lot of Thai Beanie Babies in my shop. So I have an eBay store. The link is in my profile here. But there we go. Sorry, we're working through some inventory for Christmas. And for anybody that says that Thai does not work for resale, you're not doing it right. Sorry, you're just not doing it right. Anyway, on to games. But yeah, I want to do kind of a motivational stream. I feel like that's something I can do, and I feel that everybody that wants to stream should scratch that itch and do it. I don't care if you plan on doing it long term or not. It's like when before the internet was out and you could do videos, people were always obsessed with being on TV, but then they're worried about being nervous. Do it. Just do it. It doesn't matter what it is. There's always going to be the risk of making a fool of yourself, but in the grand scheme of everything and the way things go, that's highly unlikely. Could somebody cut a clip of me out of here and make me a meme? Yeah, absolutely. But that's kind of the way the internet is, right? So who cares? So yeah. So as the title implies here, get optimized. So who is this stream for? What are we doing this for? Let's say you've played through the story. You've just collected the gear that you've picked up, and you've used a few of the weapons. You don't know many of them, but you're kind of comfortable with what you got, but you feel you could do better, or you're not sure where to go from here. So yes, there's seasons and stuff like that you can play, but more so you need to work on a build. And a build is a big deal because it's what gets you those quick kills. All the videos that you're watching on YouTube where somebody is doing massive NPC damage, some do PvP stuff, but this is more going to be focused towards the PvE side in the main game. Okay, me and Ice play regularly, and we can grind out the seasons fairly fast. We're able to do enough damage on challenging and higher, and we're able to tank enough damage. We do fairly good. So anything you see where somebody's doing high amounts of damage, they're tanking damage, combination of both, or they're doing massive stuff with skills, all of that is build based. You have to have a build. You make one whether you realize it or not, but it's sloppy because you don't know how to put stuff together. We're not specifically going to go after builds. I'm going to describe essentially how some of the stats and builds work because it's important to understand that for optimization. But it's not key to what we're doing. It's the base, if you will. And then the watch levels, I would argue the watch levels are icing on the cake, but they do make a good improvement. But with recalibration, proficiency, all of that, those things all matter. So we're going to look at those kind of things so you guys can see what's there. What do we got? We're at 13. We're going to give it a couple more minutes here because I know an ad roll is going to pop in 2 minutes, so I don't want somebody to come into an ad roll, so we're going to spend a little more time here chit-chatting before we get into it. I think that's a good rule of thumb, too, coming up on streams, is if you have your ad roll set to be on, you can expect that in the first 15 minutes, people are going to see something. If they're just coming to your channel, it's going to be an ad roll, but so we'll give it 1 more minute here. Drink as much as I can here, so I'm well hydrated for the ongoing. This is a special beverage. I don't know if it's okay to say what you're drinking on stream if it's not non-alcoholic, I'll put it that way, because I've understood that some people have gotten in trouble for drinking on stream. But as far as you guys know, this is Coke. I think it's all that matters. I don't know. I'm not sure on that. I think it's like don't have a bottle of something on stream drinking that or you'll run into trouble. But yeah. So we are trying something new too on the Twitter side. I saw a lot of people when they're going live, they put the 2 red dots in the live in their notification. And I think that's thanks for the shout out, Fred. I do appreciate that. Fred's shouted me out on Twitter, of course. Much appreciated. A lot of people put the 2 red circles and then live now, and I don't know if that matters or not. I'm doing it. There are certain things that I will do if other people are doing them, if it's beneficial and it doesn't seem too far out of the way, so that way, you know, it gets attention out there and so people know. Maybe you're just viewing the Twitter and you see it, but yeah, we'll make that work. So almost there, guys. Okay, that was quick. All right, I'm gonna pop over to the regular play, and we're doing a different form of capture this time. I'm going to see if it works here. You guys should be able to see my mouse perfect. We're not on PC, we're on Xbox, but I was able to get the mouse to work. So I'll try to move that around so you guys can see. Just to let you guys know, if you're trying to do a stream like this and you're doing a window capture, I did try changing the mouse size within Windows, and it does not carry over to your capture. It doesn't care what size you make the mouse pointer. So I looked like a 24 point, I think there's a max, and it didn't care. It wouldn't display it anyway. So, all right, so let's dig in. We're going to start first with some build information. So in your inventory, you have your guns that you're running, and you have all of your gear. And some of these are going to be highlighted. I'm going to go through these real quick and just get the exclamation points gone. Oh, maybe not. Who cares? All right. Maybe here. Can I do it here? I think you can do it here. So this is Recalibration gear. I have a full inventory here. Now, you're not going to want to mess with anything we're going to talk about during this stream or this video if you're watching it. You're not going to want to mess with any of this until you've completed the main story and you're at least to World Tier 5. I would not bother crafting any of your gear or upgrading it or anything. The reason being is because you're going to change through gear so fast to get the gear score up that anything you do is going to be useless and a waste of your time. Play the story, get the gear, level up to 30 as fast as possible, get past that mark, that way you're in endgame, and then once you're at that, get to World Tier 5. Once you're at World Tier 5, you're level 30 maxed out, you're ready to start doing these things. And unlike me, where I had to learn this the hard way because when the game started, information was somewhat scarce, and then it became more available, it becomes difficult to do some of these. So what we're looking for in here is we're looking to get these stats boosted, but these aren't all that matters. So as you can see here, my primary is doing 519.5K. The secondary is doing 1.2 mil. And I'll show you why these don't matter as the primary, because this is what's important here. And then my card, I like the card handgun. This is the custom, I believe. You can see it's doing pretty good amount of damage. It's doing half of what, well, more than half of what my rifle's doing. So pretty good damage there. The RPM is the fastest out of all. I like it as a good side weapon. Sometimes you run out of ammo. Sometimes you want to use that. There's other reasons to use it, and I'll explain that too. The pistols are not useless. They actually come in quite handy. RPM is not what matters either. You know, the magazine size doesn't matter all that much either. These things are all important for different reasons. And then the last stat at the bottom is going to be the armor and health. And those are what you're going to watch for use as well. Obviously, the more armor you have, the more you can take damage. The more health you have, the better off you'll be with that. So, health, though, I don't know. If I had to choose to have more armor health, I'd take more armor. Personally, that's me. That's how I play. So, and then to preface too, before you start even working on a build, you can still collect resources. So even if you haven't decided what you want to do yet, be collecting resources. Because you're going to need to figure out how you play. Do you like to face tank? Do you like to hide? Are you more of a cover shooter? If you are, you may not need as much armor. You may want more damage in. Are you the type of person that likes to run skill heavy? Do you like the skills? Do you want to use a lot of those? If that's the case, then you're going to want a skill heavy build that's maybe going to have less armor, maybe less health, maybe less weapon damage overall, but it's going to give you that boost in skills. There are people that exclusively run skills, one of any type, and they boost that. quick cooldowns, they do, you know, massive damage, all of those. So you really have to pick what you want. What I would recommend you don't do, don't go to YouTube, watch videos, and assume that's the build for you. I don't care how good the build is. Even if the build is an excellent DPS build, if you are not good at cover fire, you're not good at face tanking, the build isn't going to matter. You're going to end up dead. So those are the things that you need to watch for there. So we know now, you know, here's our damage. Here's our, you know, I don't care about the signature right now, but here's the damage you have. Signatures do matter to a degree too. But here's the damage you have, all of that. And here's why the main damage alone doesn't matter. And I'm going to show you why. Because there's additional stats on guns. Let's run over to stats. You're going to hit your right bumper to get over in the tabs there. And we're going to look through these weapon talents. So these are applied to guns. You can swap some out. Perfect shot. Perfect lucky shot. And this is one I run. This one's currently on my Baker's Dozen. I love the Baker's Dozen. Perfect lucky shot as it is. I always call it bread basket. That's not the correct one. You can see here it tells you what it is equipped on. Hopefully you guys can see the mouse okay. The mouse pointer there. Magazine capacity is increased by 30%. This is good. I would put perfect lucky shot on a machine gun, something that's rapid fire, or a rifle because it's going to help. And then magazine capacity is increased by 30%. This is great, but going back here, looking at my my Baker's Dozen, the magazine's only 20, so that 30% boost is only going to get me 1 or 2 shots, I think, and there's all it does. And I have another thing that gives it ammo anyway. So I'm not concerned with that. What I do want is I want the missed shots from cover have a 100% chance to return the magazine. This is essentially infinite ammo if you're not a perfect shot. I'm not a perfect shot. I'm not that great at landing shots all the time. So this right here is a lifesaver. I've essentially got a half of a sniper rifle with shots that I miss returning the magazine. It means I don't have to reload if I miss, which I like. So that's Baker's Dozen. Oops, wrong buttons, guys. Okay, so Scorpio is I highly recommend, me and I always run the Scorpio as a secondary, and it's what we run, it's the shotgun we run, and it's an exotic. It's the one exotic you should be carrying in weapons, I personally think, and here's why. Septic Shock on the Scorpio is one of the best things. So shooting a target applies stacks of venom, which last for 10 seconds. That's going to poison your enemy and drain their health, not armor, but health. Increasing stacks adds more severe debuffs to the target. This shotgun is pretty fast on the fire, and you're going to want to use it because 1 shot poisons them, 3 disorients them. If you hit 6, you shock them. Me and I hit the shock all the time. Target takes additional 20% damage at 7 shots. You will land these if you're up close and personal. I like this as a clutch weapon, so to speak, because we can get up close and face tank people with this shotgun. It will drain them pretty quickly, and that last 20% damage boost is going to knock them out. And remember, you're doing millions of points of damage with the shotgun, so keep that in mind. And then 20% damage from all sources is the boost. So it's everything you do. Grenades, pistol, whatever you got, all sources. Stacks no longer increase. This is good to pair with a skill as well because you get that 20% boost on your skill. All of these things synergize really well. Duration of status effects is based on the percentage of pellets hit by the applying shot. So the closer you are, the more of those pellets you're landing on an enemy, the better off you're going to be. Let's see. And then that's the main one for it, which is a good one. Perpetuation, this is on the card. I don't really use this one too much. I could probably re-roll this if I haven't done another stat, and I'll show you what that means in a bit. But headshots grant 50% status effect damage on duration to the next status effect you apply. So pairing with the Scorpio, it can have some good stuff, and there's a 20-second cooldown, so it's not bad. And then we're going to ignore this one because it's just on the signature weapon. I don't pay too much attention to it. So, I mean, it's great. It increases. I think the big thing is that with this, it lights them on fire longer, so it's kind of like a stun. Fire works like a stun in Division and can be highly useful for stunning your enemies. So this is the meat of what we're looking at. These are your stats and how well you're doing. Now, my PvP stats are garbage. They're going to be garbage because I am not a PvP player. I play PvE on hard difficulties, and I want to be at the point where I'm playing the hardest difficulty possible. Doesn't mean I can't fight in Dark Zone. I have fought in Dark Zone. I just don't like it. There's not a point for me to play in Dark Zone. There's just not. There's not that good of rewards there for me to go spend time in Dark Zone. If it's your thing, then you may want to find out what playstyle you like, find that build, and start grinding that build. I'm not going to go over specific builds within this video and stream. We're not here for specific builds. I will tell you about what I'm running. You're going to have to make decisions on your own past there. So weapon damage, this is where it gets a little confusing in here. This piece here, weapon damage, is talking about your main weapon. I wish they would put all of your stats in here. Unfortunately, they only talk about your main weapon. So this is why within this, it's important that you check whatever weapon you're running and then look at it here. And I don't want to switch my mains around, but so we're doing 519,533 weapon damage. That's what this does per shot. PvP, a lot less. You can see out there. We're going to look at critical hit chance. I don't know if it actually does or not, but critical hit chance, I believe, is what gets you to explode bags and stuff on auto aim. It's also the crit too. You'll do more than 519, or you'll do the max, I think is what it is with crit damage. So, so 15.6% of the time I'm doing critical damage. I guess that's good. I don't rely on that because for me, getting critical chance to boost that, I have to sacrifice so many other stats. That's the chance. Sorry. Critical hit damage, on the other hand, is a 79.2% on this gun. So that's pretty high. I'll take the crit hit damage, so it's a nice bonus. And then, of course, with this, because it's a rifle, you should see generally higher headshot damage. You can see there, it's got that boosted because of the hollow sight. Obviously, if I switch that, this number is going to drop. So headshot damage 50 of 50 on Keener's watch. So my watch levels are maxed. And we're going to briefly go over watch levels as well. Armor damage. This one's important to have too. Now, I think this is only applying to this gun. Armor damage is how much damage you're doing to armor. So 5% with each shot is what you're taking down. And you can see there's no health damage on this. I'm probably going to swap the guns around. I didn't want to, but so I can show you what that looks like. I think I can swap it without even changing it in there. And then range, you want your range to be up. Also, going back, this was a change made a while back. There didn't used to be a cap on these stats. Some of these stats have caps, meaning you can't stack higher than 60%. You used to be able to go above that. People were exploiting that. It was done away with. They started capping them at what they thought was fair. Armor damage can go up to 100%, I believe, but hitting that's going to be difficult. Health damage, you'll see that's why that's important. So health damage is essentially if they're armored, you're going to be doing health damage in addition to that. That means you can drain their armor and their health maybe at half. That happens a lot with the Scorpio for me. Ooh, we're going to be doing a lot of talking this go. So take note of what these are because I'll explain where those are going to come in handy in a minute here besides the obvious. Range, obviously the better range you have, the more the damage drop off is going to be a lot less. Reload time, I like having that low if I can. 2 seconds is pretty good, not the best, not the worst. Our reload speed bonus, so we got a 51.5%. You can see all of these are affecting reload speed, plus the watch. So I get a 51.5%. That's going to affect this number. So I think it was at 4 seconds. It's going to reduce it down on that one. I have a 60% accuracy. I do believe that is for auto aim, but additionally, I think that's for when you're lining the sights down, that even if you're aimed on a target, if you're at a further distance, how many shots are going to hit. Stability is also important. Stability is going to be affecting how stable the weapon is when you fire. And then weapon swap speed is at 41.5 for this particular gun. That's how quickly you swap your weapon out. Now, there's another stat that's not shown here for accuracy, stability, and I think reload time as well, and that's going to be weapon handling. Weapon handling is going to be a stat that you're going to want to boost if you can. I'll explain why in a little bit here. So we're going to go back to the main real quick here so I can swap. We're going to put... Oh, I can't do it here. We're going to the shooting range real quick to do this because you can't swap weapons anywhere in the White House but the shooting range. We're not really doing any combat tonight. So looks like it did swap it though. So we should have this equipped now. We're going to go back in. So let's see if the 1.2 mil's on. Hopefully it did that. It did not. So that's where it's annoying to view your stats. I wish it was more active. So I'm going to swap these two. Now you can see my primary is the Scorpio. So it should swap those now. And we're going to take a look. Looks like it did. So it says primary damage 1 million. That is not completely accurate. You guys will see why. We're going to go down to weapon stats here. Shouldn't be accurate because it should be showing the 1.2, but that's okay. So looking in here now, you can see we got about 1 million damage on the Scorpio. And you can see that there's a lot of things right here affecting that are giving me a little bit of a boost in there. So PvP is a little bit higher. This is the shoddy, so it's a little bit better. See how less of these are 0? This is confusing me here because I have bonus health damage. I wonder if it's showing someplace else because it does matter. You can see the range is really low. I don't expect much for a shotgun. Reload speed, this one reloads pretty fast. That's why I like it too. Accuracy is about the same as the rifle I'm carrying, and then there's stability, and then weapon swap speed's up there. Weapon handling's at 51. That helps some stats too. Ammo capacity still at 20. All weapons damage bonus. So we're gonna look at this. This is everything all together. So all weapons damage bonus. There's a 93.9% boost on all weapons from all of this on the side, and we'll look at those and why they are. This is why a build is important. And they're not hard to do. Builds are not hard to put together. A basic build that's not as sloppy as what you just come across will do you a lot better. Rifle damage bonus, there's 10%. We've got our assault rifle damage bonus, 15%. I do use the MK17 as well. That's one of the ones I like. Ice likes the MK. It is a good weapon. I recommend using it, especially if you're not really into sniping and stuff. Shotgun damage bonus, there's another 30%. So we have a 93.9% damage bonus plus 30% damage bonus. Pistol damage, 35 up, and explosive damage, 15. I don't know why. We're going to look in here because I'm not sure why it is. But my pistol does really good at tearing down armor on elites. And I haven't been able to figure out why that is. I know it's not the card. Pretty much any pistol I've run has done that. And then Perfect Spark is another stat, and Companion. These ones are probably going to get swapped on mine, but Companion works out well because you can see there when you're within 5 meters of an ally or skill, total weapon damage is increased 15%. This is great for solo or for team play because you're getting a 15% boost. Everybody does. Ice says he could probably stand to use a weapon with a higher rate of fire, to be honest. I don't know, man. It depends on your playstyle. I enjoy the Baker's Dozen slower compared to the MK, but man, it does massive damage. I've tried some of the faster firing weapons, and I tend to tear through armor so fast. I mean, you remember the days when I was running the Bullet King for a while there. And then Perfect Spark, damage enemies with a skill increases total weapon damage by 15% for 20 seconds. A nice boost there. The gear branded sets, we're going to skip these because I'm going to go over these later. And defense. This is the other portion you need to pay attention to, is how well you're being defended while you're fighting. You know, armor on kill, armor regeneration. This number for me on this one is going to get boosted. That's currently what I'm working on. And I'll explain why it's taking me a while to get these done too. Max health, health on kill. Health on kill to me seems like almost a useless stat. I'm not in a spot too often where I'm needing a health replenish. If my armor's already gone, my health is not going to hold out for much. It just doesn't matter. And then health regeneration, I'm also working on that as well. This is a passive. It takes a while to get through, and I'll show you why some of these numbers seem silly to me. That's health regeneration, so that is low. Sorry. Armor regeneration, that one's important. This one, meh, doesn't matter to me. Incoming repairs, again, I don't know why it's showing 0 because I do have this boosted and protection from elite, so I'm not sure what's going on here. Hazard protection, as it says there, this is your protection from bleed, blind, burn, disorient, disrupt, ensnare, poison, and shock. This is a good stat to have some into because it's going to help against explosions. If you can get fire up, fire is so common in this game. Having resistance up against hazard protection is going to help against fire. I would rather take hazard protection than the individual. But as you can see, I've got these up, and I don't know if these match. I think they do. I think this counts in all of these. So as you can see, I don't have much into the others. I mainly just have into the one. So that's probably all we're going to go over here, even though there are other stats. Like skill haste is 500%. We have these. We're going to look at those elsewhere because I really don't want to go over this here. It's going to be too verbose. Look through those and understand those numbers. Understand all these numbers because they are going to be important. Ice says, I ran the G36 and MK16 for a while, and it does shred. G36 was the meta for this game early on. If you had a G36 or the replica or the enhanced, any of those, they were good. I still occasionally run those. They're fast firing. Your DPS drops, but they're good. And that doesn't mean you guys can't use them. If you want to use G36, you're just going to have to find a build that's going to work for that or stats that are going to work for that. All right. So, sorry if that was loud, guys. So, where does this all matter? Well, it all matters because of what you're running. We're going to look at a gun first here. So let's look at the anatomy of how the weapons work within Division 2. Some of this you can find pretty commonly. I just want to cover everything here if this is your first time and you're looking for a comprehensive video. It's kind of what we're going for. This here will tell you, usually there's flavor text here. We don't really care about that. You want to read it, go ahead, pause video now and read it. I'm gonna skip down. Total damage is listed at 1 million. Again, I don't know why it's not higher. I must have swapped gear or something because this was at 1.2. But we're going to look at it, unless I equip the wrong Scorpio. That's definitely possible too. But we're at 1.2, 130 RPM, 7-round mag. Pretty good for that. I keep trying to use my mouse to change the thing. Oops, too far. The weapon damage here, this is expertise and proficiency. We're going to ignore that. It is a 3% boost. As you can see, I have the core attributes maxed here. So 15% shotgun damage and then 12% damage to armor. So this thing shreds armor pretty decently. And then we have attributes 9% critical hit damage. So I am going to boost that because I can't change it. I'll show you why I can't change it at this point. So you guys understand that. And then here is your kind of gauge. This is going to be accurate when you're putting components on guns. Exotics you can't attach components to. They are what they are. Because you can't change out like your stock and stuff. You're stuck with what's on the exotic. You can't change any parts out on it. You can mod it. I'll show you. You can mod it. But see how they're locked? I can't put anything else on exotics. You're not going to be able to. So you want these maxed as much as possible. This is in the recal bench, and I'll show you how that's done. You're not going to get a god roll. The likelihood of that happening is very low. It can happen, but it's very low. And then here's your accuracy. It's fairly low compared to the guns. Your reload time, this is 1 second on this one for the reload time. Stability is what that one is. That's pretty higher. And here's your damage drop-off. So at 109 yards, we're doing nothing. You're not hitting anything. Your drop-off's going to be right in here. I don't know what that is. It doesn't really tell you that well. They should have this numbered out better. There's your septic shock talent. And then here's what you have equipped, what it does for you. This is the easier way to view that. Here's the baker's dozen. As you can see here, we've got the negative is in comparison to your primary. So keep that in mind. If I go back up to the other, notice how we don't see those numbers. It always puts your primary against your secondary. So as you can see, this is lower. And again, I don't know what these numbers are here because it says 519 when I have it in the other. I don't know what that swap is. So sorry, I don't know that portion, but I know it's doing the 519. I've tested that in the firing range. You can always test your guns out in the firing range. 180 RPM, all those. We have 4% damage, weapon damage. As you can see in the stat here, here's the rifle damage. If you're running rifles, you want to boost rifle damage as much as you can. The higher your percentage of rifle damage, the more damage overall you're going to do. Obviously, that's obvious to everyone. So if you like running rifles, you probably want something that's going to boost your rifles. Critical hit damage, I'm going to boost that. This is highlighted because it's maxed, and then it's got the wrench and screwdriver because I have recalibrated that, or I have swapped a talent out on it, or swapped something. Once you do one of these, that's it. Again, I'll show that a little bit later on here when we're in the recal stuff. Critical hit damage and then magazine size. I am going to boost this. I'm probably going to get, I think, one more shot. I think it was at 19, something like that. And then this will boost it to 20. I think on the final, it's going to be 21 rounds. Not much, but in a pinch, that one bullet can make a difference. You can see where the accuracy is higher up on this. It's much higher. Reload time, plus 0.9 seconds over the shotgun. Obviously, the shotgun's going to go fast. But look at this drop off here. You know, much better. It is a rifle, of course. There's your stats again. Here's what I have equipped on this one. If you want to see your paint job, there it is. That's what I have in there. I like making them pink and purple. Division 1, everything I did purple that I could. So we got all that. You don't have to carry as much stuff as I do. So there's the card, what I'm running right now. Here's all the stuff it has on it. I do keep the Liberty. Where was that stat at? Wasn't this one. There's an exotic pistol that does damage to electronics specifically really well, and it's great against the DARPA dogs because it shocks them and then tears down their stuff really quickly. So so we got all that. And then your gear. You're going to pick your gear. Now, I have not completed a build altogether yet, and I think that matters. A lot of people may look at this and go, if you haven't completed a build, how do you know what you're talking about? Because what I have is working for me, and I can see where to improve it. You may start out that way. So you have some choices to make when making a build. I decided to go with the Walker Harrison Co. set for part of it. Do not make every part of your build. Do not make every part the same brand. because the stats are going to be the same and you're going to be wasteful. So you're going to pick 2 or 3 sets to work with is what you're going to want to do. This is the overview of builds. When we talk about builds, part of that is going to be the brand set bonus, okay? This is what matters fairly well for a lot of your boosts because a good chunk of boosts are going to come from the gear set. I have 2 Walker Harrison Co. items equipped, so that means I get a 5% bonus to weapon damage and a 5% bonus to damage to armor. I want a third piece. I'm working on finding one that's good, but so far the stats have been garbage on the ones I find, and then too many rerolls. So the last one is 5% damage to health. That negates armor. Even if they're fully armored, that's what you're doing to their health. As you can see, I'm working on this Breathe Easy mask. I used to run the Coyotes mask. I liked some of the stuff on it, but I have another exotic in mind I want to use. So while this gave me weapon damage, as you can see here, this one's not quite there. It will be once I bring that up, and I'll try to get that. I don't have enough components to do it tonight because I need the shade calibration bundles. Those are hard to get. I'll show you why it's a pain in the butt, but why it's worth it. So as you can see, as I have here, here's armor regen. This is why I said the numbers didn't make sense whereas it was health, but I can get this maxed out more. I think this maxes at 6,000 armor regen and then 16,522 armor on kill right now. I think that maxes at 20 or 18, one of the two. These are important for me because I do cover fire, but at the same time, I can take a lot of damage. I want to be able to regen fairly quickly. And our armor is at 740k. This right here is not going to do us too well, essentially, but this will. And we'll be able to do other stuff with that. So, as you can see, I'm not running an appearance slot modifier at this point or anything. Not that that matters. We have this other bonus here. That's going to help with some stuff too. And you can see the main on this is the weapon damage. And then we have the weapon handling on the attributes. So weapon handling, again, remember, that's your catch-all. That's your, as I forget the words here, that's your catch-all for stuff. So it's like your reload, your accuracy, stabilization, it's your core. You want that to be maxed. In my opinion, you should be working to get as much weapon handling as you can. It does help out. So that's one piece. And the door kickers I like right now, but it's probably not going to be one I keep. The reason being is I'm looking at the brand set bonuses. Yes, I have 2 pieces of Grupo Samba on, but that's before I knew what I was doing entirely. So right now you can see it's doing critical hit damage, explosives damage, and then headshot damage. I want something better for that. It's proficient. We'll go over what that means as well. But I don't really, like here's the hazard protection, 8.6. I've got a 10% boost someplace else. I'm keeping this on until I find a good replacement I can work on. That's probably going to be something like the Walker Harrison Co. Chain Killer. That would be my third piece. There's my weapon damage, armor regen, weapon handling, but I don't have a mod installed, so I can put a mod into it. And, what could I pop in there? Well, what do I have? I have a few armor on kill, protection from elites. If I throw one of these in, then the harder stages are going to be a lot easier, so it might be worth putting that in there. So that's something I have to look at. This one I think I had it starred. I may not now. No, I think I grabbed another one. I have a full set of inventory right now for the purpose of this video, so we'll look at that. I do have it starred. I just couldn't see it because it turns black when you put that over. So that could be my third piece on that set, the Walker Harrison, or the Walker Harris set. And you have 6 slots. So that means you either have to pick 2 sets of 3 or, the 3 sets of 2, whatever you're going to do, you have to try to match those up for the stats you want. Some people I've seen, they're willing to sacrifice that last perk, that last brand set bonus. And then Douglas and Harding was the other one I was looking at. So Douglas and Harding would boost some core stats that I like. So 20% pistol damage, 20% stability, 20% accuracy. Also, it's important to know that certain gear sets on the core attributes are going to be more aligned towards your goals. For example, Umbra Initiative here. With these teal pieces, you have to have 4 sets to get all of the bonuses, and you really want 4 to get that last set. I've seen a lot of people run these. I haven't made up my mind whether I want to or not because I don't like a lot of the stats on these. But again, it's based on your playstyle, what's going to work best for you. You can argue about what builds the best all you want, but at the end, it's what works for you. These have, with 2 pieces, you get your first bonus. On your third piece, you get another bonus. in my opinion, you're just not getting that much out of it personally. And you can see there it wants you to have all 6 for these. So I don't know that I want to fill up my stuff with one set that doesn't give me the things I want. The first division, I felt these were more aligned. The teal set were more aligned. They worked a lot better. I think it was the Desperado set gave health regen and immunity to some damages. I don't think that's present here. I haven't seen anything like that that's good. But as you can see, it's only got weapon damage and explosive resistance. That really doesn't do much for me. And I can't even put in I don't think I can put in a spare. Yeah, you get no add-ons. So not really something that I want, that I'm going to put a lot into at this point. Not unless I see something really compelling. Douglas and Harding, though, pistol damage, stability, and accuracy. I like all those. That's going to give me some good boosts to stuff. And bonus on the pistol, which is already doing pretty good. There's my 20% pistol damage bonus right there. But it's also got like weapon damage, weapon handling, and armor regen. Again, it kind of aligns with what I'm after. And then knee pads, what are you running? The Grupo Sombra, again, that's the other one I'm running. I'm not going to go too much over that. Gloves, Overlord Armaments. Overlord Armaments would be a good set to run if you really love rifles. I've also considered having this in. I may do that over the other because, look, rifle damage, if you're looking in the corner here, rifle damage, accuracy, and weapon handling. Those 3 stats, plus all of this here, will greatly help rifle damage. I attribute that to why it is a lot of the stuff for the rifles, the G36, the Baker's Dozen, all of those. I think that's where I'm getting a good boost off of things because of stuff like this. So in what I'm doing, I know I'm keeping Overlord Armaments here. I may sacrifice some of those other pieces to have more of this because just having the accuracy and more weapon handling would be awesome. It'd be amazing since it does so much for you. And I know some people are going to argue there's more important stats than that, but that's what works for me. You got to find what works for you. So now that you get an idea of what the gear sets are, look through what you've got, see what works for you. Here's Overlord Armaments. Here's another rifle damage boost here. Take a look at, and some of these have pretty good rolls. I don't think I've recaled this one, and it's got 13.5 already. Ice says, my playstyle is keep distance until there's only a couple of guys left, and then rush in. I have started surprise attacking convoys, executions, and territory controls with a Reggie roll, where I follow him in with a shotgun. Nice. Let's look at Badger Tough. Badger Tough is a good one. If you want something that's going to boost skill stuff and shotgun stuff, Badger Tough is awesome for that. Badger Tough has shotgun damage bonuses, total armor, and armor kill. This is another gear set I've thought about weaving into my use just because of these bonuses. Plus, it's got armor and hazard protection on. If you're a shotgunner and you want to run shotgun as a primary, this pairs well with the Scorpio. Definitely pair into this. It's going to boost all of that. This could be an ideal set for that. I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying it's an ideal set for what you're doing. Plus, you get a mod slot on these. Badger Tough is excellent for these. You can keep multiple builds, too. You can do loadouts. You can have up to 3 loadouts in Division 2. So that may be something you want to look at as well, as having loadouts to switch between the two. I do believe you can hot swap loadouts in the field as long as you have all the guns with you and all the armor pieces with you. So keep that in mind. Golan gear. As you can see there, this is going to be for a skill build. You can tell right off with the status effects. That's going to be, yes, if you have the flamethrower at house, but it's better if you're using skills. So a status effect boost, plus you get the other bonus down here if it's rolled onto it. And it has a gear mod slot plus an armor boost. Look at that armor. 76,000 bonus to armor. So definitely good for a skill build. Providence is going to be a lot of... This Providence I would use for a sniper build. If you're using long-range rifles, use the Providence build as part of your build. You're going to get that headshot damage bonus, the critical hit damage, all of that. And again, I think that a lot of people that aren't into builds and recal and stuff, they're doing okay because a lot of these things are lucky rolls in or they synergize well enough that you're getting all these bonuses in smaller amounts that you can be so much more of a badass looping these in higher. I feel I'm not the best player, but I feel pretty comfortable with what I'm doing, and I've played on the most challenging difficulty solo. So if I can do it solo, you guys should be fine doing whatever else. And again, Providence Defense is going to give you those nice bonuses. And we have the recal bench. I'm sure some people would ask, well, if you can just re-roll stuff, why are you even bothering with this particular set? Because you can't re-roll the brand set stuff. And also, the likelihood of the core attributes and the attributes, those roll specifically at a higher rate to certain gear pieces. You can only change one attribute. So if you can only change one attribute, you're going to want to go for the piece that's going to give you more so of what you want. Hannah Yu, again, skill haste, skill damage, weapon damage. This paired with Goleen, I think it was Goleen. Yeah, the Hannah Yu and Goleen, two sets that pair together exceptionally well, that if you were looking to do massive skill damage, you want to do more skill work, you really like the skills, you're a ranged fighter, these are what you're going to want. You're going to sacrifice some of the rifle damage maybe, but you're getting, look at the skill damage, 10% boost, and then, what have you got on here? It gives you a skill tier plus 1 point. That matters for skills, because sometimes you need a certain skill tier to do extras. I'll show you briefly what those are. The skill tier is important. You'll notice that mine, I don't have a very high skill tier, because I don't have a lot of those on. You're going to want that if you're doing a skill build, so pay attention to those. Most of them have +1. I think you can get mods that let you add on to that. Ice says, I sacrificed nothing, Bane Thumbs. And then I obviously don't have everything, but here's another one. You can see what this does. If you want to be a tank, you're going to want the Uzina Getica, something like that. Look at these armor bonuses. This is your armor boost, armor on kill, hazard protection, more hazard protection in there, explosive resistance. You could probably swap this one out for something else because you've already got hazard protection. Since explosives and fire are the two of the most deadly things in here, you may want that, or fire, whatever you want, whatever you're having more of a problem with. If you're good at dodging grenades, but you're getting burned a lot, you're going to want fire protection on there. Pair that with the hazard protection, you're going to be just peachy. And again, I'm not going to comprehensively go over everything. We'll do the last one here, which is the China Light Industries Corp. What's Ice got? I am a tank. Lots of armor, not overly powerful weapons. Yeah, but you can fix that, man. Guaranteed. Guaranteed you can fix it. This is another one that pairs well. The China Light Industries Corporation pairs well for a skill build. You're getting that skill tier again. So that's going to help. Briefly, over skills. I'm going to go with my drone here real quick. So here is where the skill tier matters, okay? I think it's in here. I'm trying to find one that's got it. Skill tier matters in your, okay, there you go. So it's in, so if you do your mod option on it, we're going to look at the drone here. I have no skill tier. As you guys can see, there's nothing in there. So here's why you want the skill tier. Do you see those grayed out items right there? Each block of skill tier you have is going to give you that bonus. Just one on the fixer drone gives you plus 20% to armor repair and 70% to health. If you have a complete skill build, you can achieve overcharge, and you can see what overcharge does in here. So the more of those blocks that you have, the better off you are. The problem is the sacrifices you have to make to get some of these. So either you're going to have a rounded build or you're going to have a specific build. I highly recommend a specific build that caters to your play style over a build that is all over the place. And a lot of people have a build that's all over the place. So I use more healing skills than I do for like the Hive, because the Hive, you get more charges for a Reviver. 6 charges, 75% Reviver armor repair at the max there. You can, with the Hive, when you do overcharge, you can get armor repair into that at 75%. Even the tier 6 is still pretty good. More range, more, I don't know why drone speed's in there. That one I don't get, but health, look at that, plus 420% health. So you're getting a lot of there. Plus you have 6 charges. You're going to be able to use that a lot more on other players. That you only get 1 if you drop it for yourself. The only thing it doesn't do is the recharge rate for stuff. So, but that's where those blocks matter. And again, as you can see on mine, I don't have any of those. I'm not using any of them. You need specific stuff, and you're pretty much having to make a skill build if you want all of those. So Ice says, I like having lots of armor. And I do. I need to boost my armor. So, and of course, you have your mods for those gear pieces too that help. I have some equipped. We're not going to go over we're not going to go over skill mods. I don't think it's relevant to what we're doing. I mean, everything's relevant if we wanted to spend hours and hours on this, but I don't want to spend too much time. We're going to try to cap this at about 2 hours. So the reason I went over this too is to give you more scope of what things are and what they work like. If you have questions and you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and plug them in. Ice, you're kind of the only person here. Somebody else is lurking. It's probably Dante or it's Fred. Let's see who's lurking. Nope, it's Stream Elements. So if you got any questions, man, at this point, let me know. I'm going to drink something here. God, I haven't done a lot of public speaking. I didn't realize how thirsty you get. Now I see why Robin Williams had like 90 bottles of water. I'm not even doing voices. I mean, if you're happy with what you have right now, Ice, you could probably just look at what stats aren't maxed and then use the optimization table for that. So, because that's where we are headed next. So, if you don't have any questions, man, I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna try some water instead of cola. My adult cola. All right. So that is the overview of your inventory, and this is why builds are important, because builds are going to allow you to get those stats in that you're not even aware of. Maybe you don't even have them, or your weapon, like I said, he said his weapons aren't doing that much damage, but he's got lots of armor. He probably just needs to boost something. So these two tables are going to be the most important for endgame. I don't really build too much in this table. We're going to go over that a little bit later. Right now, we're interested in Emma Richards' table, the recalibration station. This is going to be most important. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to show you the icon I want in here because I have most of everything. But this is you have 4 sections in here: expertise, optimization, recalibration library. If you've just got to level 30, or you're at level 30 and you've just finished World Tier 5, you've finished all of the story components, you're in the end game, you're going to want to start with Recalibration Library. Do not worry about a build. Play on hard so you get better gear drops. But don't worry about trying to get to here, or here yet. Just work on this. You can kind of pair these two, Recalibration Library and Expertise. Don't mess with Recalibration Optimization yet. Pardon me. Use Endgame to test out guns you might like and to really figure out how you play. If you notice that you're taking a lot of damage from a specific source, you might want to either play better, learn how to dodge better when you get stuff thrown at you, or learn to shoot from distance. Whatever you got to do, figure out where your weaknesses are, and then ask yourself, can I improve these through getting better at the game, or will I need something to boost me on that? As you're playing, you're going to collect gear. In my opinion, the expertise and the recalibration library and expertise greatly improve the use of gear. Prior to expertise being available and the recalibration library, most gear in endgame was useless, didn't do anything. That's not the case anymore. Recalibration has one feature I'm going to tell you about that's kind of dumb, which is the switch levels. Once you're past level 30, you can't turn anything into these, and this is ridiculous and useless. You're never going to have anything to pop in here. So it is useless. There's not even a point to use the others. I wouldn't grind under level 30 to make a build because it's going to be useless once you get better gear. So you're going to be in the 31 to 40, and I keep misquoting, sorry. Level 40 is the max, not 31. So once you're max level, once you've got the world tier maxed out, you're going to want to start dumping things into the recal library before you do anything. You're going to want all of these because if you don't, you're not going to have everything available and you're going to be kind of lost at what to do. I have very few left. This portion of the table goes very quick if you're grinding for levels still, and if you're collecting gear. It's going to go fast because you're going to turn everything in. Essentially, what you have in each section is a core attributes, which you can see here, these are maxed, and then you have attributes right here. As you can see, I've got 1, 2 in here that I'm trying to go through. It's like 7 of 12 at max value. So I have more I need to max value. That's going to take time. It goes pretty quick. And then I need one more talent in here, which I think this was the sledge or whatever it is. Sledgehammer. Okay. It's a library of all the talents for these weapon types. All of the core attributes, and talents for rifles. And so on and so forth for each type. Plus masks, body armor, backpacks, knee pads, holsters, gloves. They all share the same attributes, but keep in mind, each gear set has a higher or lower drop rate or roll rate, if you will, for certain attributes. So keep that in mind. I don't know if it shows you, and I don't think it does. Yeah, it does. It just shows you the max. All right, so once you've got your recal library set, then you can start using the recalibration station. So at this point, you've maxed out the library, or you've already got a piece that you really like, a gear piece. Maybe you have a build in mind. You've held onto that gear now that it's at the right level. But you really don't like a certain stat on it. So we're going to go to pistols, for example, because I'm using the card, okay? I'm using the card because I haven't done anything to it yet. It's just as is. So once you go into that gun, once you go into the recalibration, you can change any of the attributes here, but only one. So for example, remember I said I didn't like the bread basket. I didn't like it at all. Well, recal is the cheapest thing you can do. I need a little bit of, I think that's ceramics at the bottom there, and steel, right? Let's see, show resources. So if you want to know what everything is. So let's see what we got. Was it ceramics? Titanium. titanium. Let's get them confused. So I need 61 titanium, and I think I need 61. Yeah, and I need the steel. So what can I put in there? Well, I can put breadbasket. I can put any of the skills that I've unlocked in the library. This is where the library is important. That library is going to feed into these. I'm okay with headshot damage and pistol damage. I want to keep those there. I want it to be maxed. I wish they would let you max it here for free since you've already worked on it. We can't. Oh well. Your core attribute is usually going to be limited on signature weapons, or like these, they're going to be limited. You're only going to have the one. So it's, like, what am I going to switch it to? That's it. I don't want to swap it, because if I change it to that, it still counts as a swap and everything else gets grayed out and locked. And I'll show you what that looks like because we're going to swap something here. I'm okay with the headshot damage, but let's say there's something else I want. All right, well, damage to armor. Do I headshot with the pistol? Not a lot. And this is where you have to kind of balance out. If I like the headshot damage, but I don't like this, what can I change it with? Well, let's see what we got. Landing a body shot adds a stack of bonus 35% headshot damage. That could pair nicely. Killer. Killing an enemy with a critical hit grants... Nope, don't want that one. Preservation. Killing an enemy repairs 10% armor over 5 seconds. Not bad. Weapon damage increased by 3 seconds for every 10% ammo missing in the magazine. I mean, it's a smaller magazine, so that could be good. Strained? No. I mean, you can see as these go through these here, fast hands. So far these aren't looking that great. I don't know. Vindictive. Killing with a status effect. Nope. Ranger. Down to 2% for every 5 meters you're away from your enemy. This would be good for ranged, but again, do I want a 2% boost on each? That could work. Once I change out this, though, I can recal it for that slot, but nothing else. Steady-handed. Hits grant up to at 100 stacks, consumes them to refill the magazine. That's not bad. I don't think I'm going to use it. That's the problem. No, I don't care about that one. Ignited, deal 20% weapon damage to burning enemies. Not too bad. No. So you could use, Future Perfect, we looked at skills briefly. Just having Future Perfect on there, weapon kills grant +1 skill tier for 15 seconds, stack up to 3 times. That means I could use up to tier 3 on something here. And then overcharge cooldown is 90 seconds, but we're not going to be that high. Hitting enemies grants 15% skill damage for 5 seconds. Again, I'm not going to use that. If you're using a skill build, you're going to want probably In Sync on there. Let's see. Nope. Salvage, it's okay. I think that's one of the more wasteful skills, depending on what you're putting it on. On the pistol, it's definitely a waste. Gives you, if you can't read that there, killing a target has a 70% chance to refill the magazine. Sorry, there's my pointer. My pointer hasn't been working. Sorry, guys. We have Finisher. Swapping this weapon within 10 seconds, killing an enemy grants 30% critical hit. And then Lucky Shot. That's what I had on the other. So, I don't know. Do I want to use that? What's my standard right now? Perpetuation. Landing body shots adds a stack of bonus 35% headshot damage to the next headshot for 10 seconds. Max stack is 10%. So the problem here is the conundrum we have is that these two synergize on this roll. If I swap this one, then this is useless. If I swap this one just is as is. So I don't know. I think on this one, I can always get another card. I'm not worried. I'm going to put Lucky Shot on this one, and you can see we're going to use those there. Plus, it takes some credits, but I've got a good amount of credits. So we're going to transfer it. And it's going to do some special stuff there. Now you can see these are grayed out. I can no longer change this stat out. I can't change this stat out. I can only change this one. So I'm stuck with that now until I get a different weapon, which I come across these a lot, so I'm not really worried. Here's another card here. Let's look at the stats on this one. Critical hit chance and then eyeless. Really, I don't care about this one unless this one's what I want. So what else do we have? Another card, 45, critical hit chance, and vindictive. So again, that looks just like the other one did. Oh, that's breadbasket. Yeah. The card for me has the highest rate of damage and fire. That's why I like the card. Obviously, these do more. I used to love the Deseros. I used to love that pistol, but unfortunately, it's too slow, and I didn't like a lot of the stats. I still keep one in. The card is just a bit faster firing. Any of these pistols I have do excellent damage to armor. I've had good luck with those. Pistol damage is really high on this one. It's at 14.7. Has a little more can go. And there's critical hit damage. I would probably, if anything, swap this out for something else. Not reload speed, magazine size. You're just not going to get. It's a pistol. You're not going to get much out of it. Like, what are you going to do? Rate of fire, I could increase it, but it's only got 6 shots. That's going to be useless on this one. I could throw health damage on this. This would be excellent to do for this one. Throwing health damage on would probably be... I'm going to swap it on there. So we'll transfer it. And then that way that pistol now does damage to health. And it can still be boosted to, I think, 10% is what it can do. So, again, it hasn't been, you know, you can't see it in here anymore because you've applied it. It can be boosted a little bit further. So that's something I would work on. So that's what recalibration does. You're yanking stats out that you hate for stats you like. So if, for example, you find a gear piece you like, that's what I got in gloves. Yeah, so this one I've done, I changed out this stat for weapon handling. If I can find a better pair of gloves that maybe has these two, but has this one better, great. That'd be awesome. But obviously it's not there. Wyvern, you know, what can I swap it to? Again, since you can only change one of these, having this library available is great, but you probably want to farm a piece that's going to do great for you. Now, the core attribute is the other thing too. Since you only get to change it to one other, while you can put extra armor on or whatnot, if you're after a skill build, you're going to want to farm pieces that have this in place, the core attribute important, and maybe one of these what you want, and you're only changing one. So that's kind of what you're looking for. That's why the difference is there. So here's the Douglas and Harding gloves. What do we got here? Headshot damage. I really don't care about headshot damage. So on this one, if I'm going to use this as Douglas and Harding, I would probably swap this out for the hazard protection because it's already got the armor regen. If I have hazard protection at 10%, that's going to be as good as having armor to a degree because I'm going to take a lot less damage. So obviously I'm not going to equip that in. I'm looking over here just for the sake of what I've got equipped already. Weapon damage, weapon handling, and skill haste. So I want to keep the skill haste on this one for now. It is reducing my countdown timers. What do we got in here? So this has a lot less on it. The Douglas and Harding here does. Weapon handling, armor regen, weapon damage. I'm going to keep those on. I think I actually already re-rolled that one. Knee pads, again, I've already re-rolled that. Don't care about it. What about this one? Walker Harris. As you can see, it's orange and it's got the wrench and the screwdriver over it right there. That means I've already ran a recal. So if you get lost before you go too deep in the menus and want to know, have I already done something with this? Yes, I have. That's what that tells you right there. So it doesn't look like there's too much more to do here. I don't think you can do exotics. Yeah, you can't recalibrate exotics. They are what they are. You're not changing the stats on those. Okay. So these two you can use early on as you're building stuff up. Optimization is where after you've already picked, we're going to go into that card. So there's pistol damage. Let's say I want to increase the damage on this here. I'm going to probably spend for this, and I'll show you what you need for these. So we're going to show resources. As you can see, that one, let's go back here real quick. We're going to look at the bottom. We have this one. I think this isn't shade calibration. This is, what is this one? Yeah, shade calibration. So shade calibration is one of those ones you're going to have to farm a lot, and it's annoying. There's two ways to farm that. One is by crafting it, and that can be difficult in its own right. That is the grind. Shade calibration is the grind, in my opinion. So we need 4 shade calibration. We're going to use one. And then we need, what's that one called? Sorry, I don't know the names of these guys. I just know what they are to need. Black Tusk Tactical Assessment. I'll tell you where to get these towards the end of this. We're going to go over farming briefly. And then I need the standard calibration, the field recon data. Those are easy to come by. And then we need the pistol one. So it's pistol alloy. That's what you need for these. Okay. So I'm going to optimize that. It's going to be to 9.6%, a very small gap. And I hate that because it takes a while, but we're going to a little boost. So we're going to go ahead and optimize that stat. Oh, actually, no, let's do something that I'm actually going to use. Hold on. Yeah, see, I don't have enough of that shade calibration bundle. That's where it starts to get pricey in doing these. So let's see if any of the other gear pieces I'm currently running that I like are going to work for that. We're going to stick to the not Grupo. Where'd it go? Walker Harris & Co. I'll do the card if I don't have enough to show you guys how that matters. I know a lot of you can do the math, but we'll see here. What do we got here? I'm not going to spend the Grupo Samba. So we'll go, let's check shotguns, because you can do your, pardon me, you can optimize exotics. Sorry, words escape me. You can't optimize those. So, and see, this is what I was talking about. The main showed me it was doing 1 million damage. This is doing 1.2. I don't know what's going on with the other count. I don't know what that is. Rifles. I'll look at the Baker's Dozen magazine size. So here's one we can do. It wants 8 for this. It's going to put it at 10%. So a 0.5% boost. Is it worth it? Not necessarily. I can't do critical hit damage. I think it's going to give me part of a bullet. I'm going to waste the stuff on it. So we're going to do that. And then optimization complete. Did we get any better? No, we did not. So it was kind of a waste, but whatever. I think more so if we go into here, I can still do the card in here. I'm going to go ahead and I'll put it on here. We'll use my last 4. Boom. And then what do we have? We get 295. So we went from 294 to 295. Not great results. Again, you're going to be doing this on stuff that's low that you're maybe optimizing, or in the case of stuff that I can't yet because I just don't have it, like the Walker and Harris. What am I going to boost in here? Obviously armor regen, because everything else is almost there. Weapon damage for sure. The next boost up that is 15%, but I need 15 shade calibration bundles. So that's optimization. That's how that works. Use that to boost stuff. So for example, Ice, if you got a rifle and it has weapon damage at 5%, but you can boost it to 15, you're going to see a good increase in the damage you're doing. Hands down, it's going to be best. So now we get to the meat of what I think this bench is, which is expertise. This is the most confusing part of the game thus far. I see questions everywhere. I've seen videos done over this where they kind of gloss over. We need to cover this more in depth. Hopefully, this video can be a good resource for everybody in terms of how this works. So, first thing to address before we go into this is that as long as you were carrying the weapons, I'm going to back out of here. As long as you were carrying the weapons on you, they get a passive amount, a very small passive amount of proficiency progress. That is this bar right here. So I have not used this card. I have one equipped. This is a bad example because this one will be feeding that too. But proficient, no upgrades. That one's done. I haven't used this since me and Ice have played. It's got the proficiency up. I haven't collected a lot either. Military M9, it's still getting points into it slowly. The equipped weapons you have get the most passive, even if you're not using them. Your active weapon is going to be getting more. Now, I've already got this one proficient because I was using it. So the weapon used most is going to get the most proficiency the fastest. Same with gear. What you actively have equipped is going to get it. As you can see, my Walker Harris coat already has it on that backpack maxed. This one, is this one done? I can't see. It's already maxed because Walker and Harris set. So you're going to passively get those. I carry around 60-something items regularly. So I'm constantly getting proficiency stuff. Carry stuff with you. Don't be quick to dump your gear unless you're close to the max. Use it. So I'm going to go back in here to expertise. So it looks really simple at the start in this menu, but these are all broken down. Now, one important distinction to make, okay? Your expertise level, let me go to the Baker's Dozen. Your expertise level is directly related to and determines your grade level. Okay? You can only, and I'm out of receiver components, so I can't upgrade this one. Your expertise level is going to determine how many grades you can rank your gun up or your gear up. Okay? I have the Baker's Dozen as proficient. Once you fill up, let's go to the artist tool, for example. Once you fill up the proficiency rank, the weapon becomes proficient. And then you can start pumping points into its rank. And as you can see, it doesn't even show up here because you don't have it set. You're not proficient yet. So expertise levels are what you can get your rank levels up to. I keep forgetting the name here, your grade levels. So expertise levels are essentially the grade level cap. Okay? And you can get rank up easily by passively increasing stuff. Again, Baker's Dozen for me was one of the first ones I got because I use it all the time. Same with the Scorpio. I use it all the time. Okay? So then comes the question, well, how do you get expertise levels? Well, there's a couple ways. One, and you can see there's a lot in here. There's your guns. Each gun is broken down. You have to get proficiency into each. You can turn in guns of the same type. Now, I don't have any to turn in here, I don't think. It's harder to do it this way. Don't pick through manually. We're gonna skip that so you don't do it as a habit. Don't go through them manually. These ones you have to use. So until you're using these, you're not going to see an increase in them. They're the only ones that don't passively upgrade unless you have them equipped. So I use the drone a lot. You can see that under, where's it at? Fixer has proficiency because I've used the fixer. You get more duration in this case out of these. So it really encourages you to use each skill. Notice only Seeker Mind, Hive, and these are the ones I use the most. And you can see I don't have the printer filament to do that. So let me go back in there again. So you can see these numbers here. I think it tells you how many levels you have. Yeah, so the shield is going to be how many rank levels you have into that. In this case, it's for the set. The Yuzina Jetica, but they do break it down. I'm going to go down here by these sets as well. So you'll notice, I'm going to point down here, there's a donate all junk. Okay, that's going to do us nothing right now because I have nothing marked. So I'm going to back out to my inventory. Collect as many weapons, guns, etc. Everything you can, collect it. Purples won't matter in here, but you can still use them. I think I still have a few. I spent some time loading up my inventory so I could do this video, and I'm going to clean up my inventory now. So we're going to take, I star everything that I like, favorite the things you like, and keep them. I am swapping out some of these for weapons that are named. Get the named variant if you can. It's going to have a better attribute. It gets a specific talent for named ones. Doesn't mean you can't like the regulars. If you like them, keep them. But I prefer to keep the named ones because they do me a lot better. So I'm going to go through. I'm going to mark these. It's going to take just a minute. I wouldn't mark these as you go. Wait until you go back to the White House. Mark them all, then dump them. And I'm going to show you an efficient process for what to do with everything, kind of a filtered on process, because everything has a use at this point in the game. If you're at this point, everything has a purpose. I'm going to check these real quick, see if I want any of these. I don't. They seem to get critical on both. I'll look for a better role as I come across them. But for right now, I like the one I've got, so I'm going to keep it. I already know what stuff I'm not using in there, so I'm going to come into the catch-all for stuff. And anything that's not starred, I'm going to mark, including those special gear sets. We're just going to mark them. Everything. I do mean everything. Mark, 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 and mark, 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 mark. You'll get stopped when you're on a starred piece. That's why I favorite everything I like. And here's some purple, okay? Purple does nothing for optimization. They're not going to work in optimization. They're not going to work in any part of the bench. The purple stuff, you're either going to want to, you're running going to break down. Don't sell it. It's not worth it. The sell rate's low on it. You're going to want to break it down for the parts. They give a decent amount of parts. All right. And then I'm going to come into here. Gear mods you can't turn in. So if you're not going to use them, I keep a small library that I may attach to stuff. Basically, I keep one of the best of each or a duplicate on some. Here's some more purple in here. I think that's it for here. So I'm going to back out. Let's see, wait, what? +2? No, that's good. Okay. And so what we're going to do from here is we're going to go into the expertise bench section of the bench again, okay? We're going to go in there. So what happens is when you donate items into here, okay, we don't have any to turn in here. And again, this is why I don't do them manually, because it would take forever to get any of these in. I mean, look, how am I supposed to know? It marks them for you sometimes, but it's just like, here's this one here. So you can donate this weapon, and it's going to give you a little boost. It's not really telling you how much you're going to get, but you're going to get some in there. Rather than do them individually like that, I'd rather just do a catch-all. So we've marked all that stuff as junk. We're going to see how much we can turn in. Now, it's not going to take all of it because some of the stuff I have is already proficient. So here we go. Now I went from the 25 to 41. Once I hit the 200, that means ranks collected or points in, it's going to bring the expertise level here up to 6. Right now, we're at 5. So I'm going to back out of here. I had 150 in my inventory. Also, you get a little bit of experience. I'm pretty sure those ones mean 1,000, not 1, because I've actually gotten level ups. We're going to look at my inventory. Now I have 74, so it almost halved what I had, okay? I'm going to break down what's left over. You're going to make the decision to sell or break down. If you need credits, sell what you have. as long as it's not purple. I'm going to break down everything at this point, and if it tells me some materials will not be acquired after construction, okay, I can live with that, whatever. What do we get? 200 protective fabric, ceramics, we got some specific named items. I did not get any receiver components, really, so not bad, not good, but we still got parts. So now everything's cleared out of our inventory. I carry 58 items at this point most of the time. So we're going to go back into here. I don't think I can fix any of these, but I'm going to check. We're going to find our mask. It does not show you your top equipped. I don't know where my mask is at. It's under a gear set. This is where it gets confusing. So if you have a specific mask you're using, you're going to find it elsewhere. But since this one, where is Douglas and Harding? Maybe I'm not wearing that. Let me see what I got. I got lost. Sorry, guys. So what is this one here? Walker Harrison Co. That's right. So let's see what we can do with that. Again, I don't think I have the stuff for it. But now that we have, proficiency, and let's go to Walker Harrison Co. Wherever it happens to be. I skipped it, didn't I? I did. There it is, Walker Harrison Co. There's my face mask, okay? So we're at expertise level 5. I already have a 4% bonus to armor. So you can see there I'm at grade 4. This is always going to see plus 1%. I think max level on expertise is 20. So that means potentially you can add a 20% boost to everything. I'm going to go ahead and spend these materials. As you can see, I'm maxed out on one of these, surprisingly. I'm going to go ahead and do an upgrade. Oop. You got to hold it. It does it twice. All right. And so you can see it changed one of the crafting components. Now I'm going to start needing the more expensive components to upgrade this. But now I have a 5% bonus to armor on this one piece. And look, I can do this one too, and I have it equipped. So I'm going to do this one as well. So now it's going to give me that boost. That's a 10% boost total. So that means on this, if you have 4 pieces or 4 armor pieces that get this, you're going to have 100% or 80% boost. If you have more, obviously more. I think there's a cap too, though. But now we've got 5% that we can boost. That's boosted. Let's look in there again. What else am I carrying? I don't think I can do any of the guns at this point. Guns get weapon damage is what they get. I was going to put my card all the way at the bottom. TD card. I'm carrying the regular. I need to get the TD card custom is what I need. Are they alphabetical? They are. So this one I've still got to get proficiency on. So let's say you're at this position where you're almost at the end and you want to make this, you want to up the proficiency level. You can donate materials. Now, I would not recommend using any of these unless you're at a point where you're max like I am in there. So I'm going to donate the stack of 400. And it brought it up a little bit. We're still at 41. We've got to get that to max proficiency rank before that number goes up under expertise level, okay? I recommend using the printer filament. One, you're going to come across a lot of mods. They're going to give you that. You get the same amount of boost from printer filament as you do for using 400 of this, 200 of this, 150 of this. And these are harder to come by. Those are, uncommon, common, and then you got base. These are harder to come by. You're going to grind for these harder. You need these for other things, so don't use those. On the other hand, I can use one stack, and look, I'm already boosted a lot more. So I'm not going to do it all the way because I need that printer filament with something else. But if you have extra printer filament or you're getting close to the cap, you can use that, and that's going to give you a little boost. So I've given myself very minor boosts. So the takeaway from this speech for everybody here, in the order we described, boost your stuff as necessary to get the stats you want maxed out. And then the filtration order for efficiency should be recalibration library to turn in, expertise, turn your stuff into expertise, and then scrap or sell whatever's left over. Scrap half of it, sell half of it, whatever you want to do to get your resources there, because you're going to get materials from guns that you're going to need. So I would say do one run where you sell it, do one where you scrap. If you're doing hardcore runs all the time, well, not hardcore, just running all the time, you're going to end up with lots of gear. You're going to have tons of gear. So that is the Recal bench. Does anybody have any questions at this point before we dig into where to craft certain materials? If anybody's got any of those, I'd be glad to answer them. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to pop it into the comment section, and I'll try to answer it there. I'm going to have some more to drink here, and then we're going to move on to the next section, guys. Whew. It's getting warm. It's not very good. Oh. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on then. We're going to go over to the crafting bench. So next to the Recal, same area as the crafting station. These are okay. Ignore most of these. The biggest thing you're going to use here is in the optimization section, particularly these two. The reason I say these two is Field Recon bundle and the Shade Calibration bundle. These are going to be the two you're most going to go after because these come pretty passively. I have a good amount of these already. You can see the count in the top of what you have. So 160 of 999. And I'm going to back it real quick to show you guys that within your inventory. So if you go to your inventory and you left bumper over to resources, this should be the same for any other console too. You can see what you've got in here. More so, I'm gonna do this manually. We're gonna go all the way down. Well, here you can see obviously what you have in these. I'm gonna go all the way down to the standard resources. So protective fabric, steel, ceramics, and polycarbonate. You will pick these up fast. The green ones are the most common to drop on the map. Blue is the rarest. These are the more common materials though. They upped the limit. It used to be a lot lower. Now it's 9,999. So max those out as you can. Get them as full as possible. Pardon me. Printer filament, if you can max that, you're going to be able to get a lot of stuff done in the expertise section. And these gold ones, the Golden Gear LTD, etc., these come from breaking down gold gear set items and weapons. These also happen to come through pretty quick, and you don't use them that often unless you're crafting the guns. So you're going to passively collect these, and if it is required in anything Recal or otherwise, you should have enough from breaking stuff down that it won't be a problem. Obviously, this teal stuff comes from the teal gear sets, and the exotic components, you're going to collect these from doing extremely difficult control points and stuff. You're not going to use these as much. I haven't needed to. And then your trinkets, those really don't matter for here. Those are neither here nor there in this explanation of things. So you're going to need to farm materials for stuff. Really, these two matter because everything else is passive. If you do bounties, you're going to end up with these. The tactical assessments come from missions and bounties and pretty much everything else. Depending on what faction you're fighting, you're going to get these. I think you even get tactical assessments sometimes or a lot of the time from doing random events like territory controls and stuff. So you're going to come across those a lot. You can craft them, but it's a waste in my opinion. You can farm these so easily, it is not worth crafting. Go do a bounty, go do a mission, you're going to get those. And I'll show you on the map what I'm talking about as well. So if you're farming materials, the two things you're going to farm hardest for Field Recon and Shade Calibration, and really just Shade Calibration. That is the hardest one to come by. You're going to get 5 bundles. As you can see there, you're going to get 5 bundles for each time you craft it. As you can see, titanium is the harder component to come by. It's just going to be more difficult to get. So that's where you're going to use these. So where can you farm titanium for? I used to have a list of where you can get materials. I don't anymore. I do apologize. I'm going to do a Google search to tell you real quick, because I don't know everything. And I'm going to keep the map open because we're going to be using this. So let's see if this article will tell me here. And they're not, of course, because it won't tell me. Each faction essentially drops 3 materials. I think it's 2 rare and 1 common. I'll find it in a minute because it's going to be pretty obvious if I can't find it. Yeah, it's not going to show me here. That's okay. We can do this without that. So, looking at the map here, I'm just going to highlight one section of the map. This is a control point that is controlled by outcasts. As you can see there, they've got 2 materials here. It's 2 randomed for that faction. So we've got, I think it's steel. Let's see. Division 2 resources. I always forget them. I do apologize. And of course, there's no easy search for that. This is why everybody always Googles this, because it's just not really available. I don't have to go back to their menu, but I may have to. just doesn't tell me. Let's visit. This guide may have what I need to, just so I can get through quickly. But so steel, ceramics, polycarbonate, carbon fiber. This list will tell you. So True Sons drops steel, carbon fiber. Outcasts are going to drop titanium and ceramics. So that's what titanium, ceramics, there's what you got. And then hyenas are going to drop polycarbonate and electronics. And then receiver components, protective fabric, they're going to come from deconstructed items. That's why I have 9,000 something protective fabric, because you get it from everything you break down. I mean, just everything. And then printer filament is from mods. So there you have that. So running these, and you can see how it says crafting materials. I think that's a random drop when it says crafting materials you're going to get. So you can farm control points. You can do all of them on the map and reset them. Also, it's important to remember that certain control points are going to drop shade calibration, or they're going to drop the other. Let's go to the other control point here. So field recon still, I know they do. It might have to be a certain level too. Field recon. Or it's area. Yeah, field recon. I know they do because I've gotten them out of stuff. You're also going to get them randomly from events too. They're not going to tell you, but they will drop. As you can see, you're getting crafting materials for doing a territory control, and you're getting 2 materials. That's how you're going to farm. Missions, on the other hand, when you do missions, you can see you're going to get the materials. This is what they drop. It'll tell you what your increased loot allocation is. I'll tell you what loot allocation is here in a second as well. But you're going to be farming based on faction to get drops. So kills are going to get you some of that when they drop it. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, that as well. So just doing these are going to get you what you need. You know, there's equipment item is going to be gold, means it's going to be named generally for the drop. That's what you're going to get. It's going to be a named item. Resource convoys are excellent to do. These drop some of the best materials in quantity. Is this. The only other option to do is lockboxes. So at this point, you probably have a ton of keys. I can't tell you what's going to be in here because they just tell you it's a lockbox. Generally, when I do lockboxes, you get a stack of 100 for that faction. So if it's Outcast, one of the 2 items they drop, you're going to get 100 stack of that. Close to. Not always, but close to. And you can see there's 1 here. So you're going to want to farm those. These refresh every 24 hours. That's in-game 24, or not in-game 24 hours, server 24 hours. So you can see there's a lot. Some of these are in missions. Do the mission, grab them. You can get a lot of resources farming fairly quickly by just doing these. But again, some are mission locked. For example, if you want the one back here, no, it's not in that one. Where's the other one at? If you want the one in here, you're going to have to run the mission here. Whoa! Jeez! Good. All right. Thanks, Ice. I appreciate that, man. Oh, it was a little bit louder than I was expecting. I do appreciate it, man. God, yeah, 4 years. Jeez, man. You've been here too long. You know too many of my secrets. I do appreciate it, man. Thanks for the resub. I'll drink to that. There we go. We got a little bit left. So farm those chests. Get those done. Do the events on the map. One area that's great for farming, me and Ice have done this numerous times, and I've enjoyed it, is down here in, I forget the area names, West Potomac, and over here. Spawn yourself at the Tidal Basin Stronghold, and look at all these points. Run all of these. You will get resources, guns, and everything quickly. If you don't want to play, or if you want to get a little more farming done, and you're willing to sacrifice losing gear in the process, run this on challenging if you can. Scrap everything. If you want to keep rare stuff and you want to scrap stuff and not suffer for it, so to speak, run it on hard. Run these. This will refresh pretty quickly as you do the loop. Me and Ice have knocked out seasons doing this loop. We've knocked out events doing this loop. You will get tons of kills, tons of gear, tons of resources. But keep in mind, this is only going to be Black Tusk. But you can see they drop those rare materials. So Black Tusk are pretty good to farm for that. You can see they've got, I mean, each of them consistently, plus random crafting materials, green level crafting materials. So it's a great way to farm equipment in a small area. Now, I've seen videos where people say you can run countdown, and that does work, but if you're playing solo, that's probably not going to work. So if you're doing solo, this is where you're going to want to farm. You get bored, move to another area, but this area is fairly clustered. And again, as long as you don't knock out the control points, leave the control points in when you're farming these loops. Don't knock those out or these all disappear. All of them go away. So that means you got this one here. Ignore it. The supplies aren't worth it right away. Unless you want to run everything, then clear those, and then go ahead and grab stuff, it won't matter. Now, obviously, as you play harder, I'm going to change global settings real quick. And you do that from the menu. As I just completely screw everything up here. What are we at? Okay, we're getting close to time. So I'm going to change global difficulty to challenging. If you're farming, just leave it there. We're not worried about the experience boost. I'm going to confirm the settings on this. I'm going to apply changes. And I'll show you what that's going to do to the map here. Also, these elite items are going to give you, see it's got the random crafting materials there, how they're blue now. Do the elite ones you can find. A lot more of those will appear when you're on at least challenging. The enemies are going to be harder, but the experience gain is going to be higher. I generally only farm materials. On challenging because it's just more plentiful. Now let's go back to that map. So now all these control points are going to be level 3. Still field recon data, but we're getting more crafting materials, more experience. I think once these get to level 4, then they start dropping shade calibration bundles. There's a chance for it. I'm not going to say every time. There's a chance for it, but you'll get them that way. So, but you can also see how that's got field recon. Sorry, control point. Wrong one. I'm looking for an event. Not that one. Where's stuff at? Takes a moment, refreshes. Yeah, so these didn't increase too much. Some will. You will see more of the elite, and those are going to give you more an opportunity. I was hoping it would pop them right away. I think you have to run a few. Like, these will start populating. I just refreshed the world map by doing that, so stuff's going to disappear. You want to be doing control points at level 4. The level gain and the drops are going to be so much better for you at 4. So there you go. There's one that popped right there. So crafting materials. You will farm a ton of materials doing this and break down the guns and get all that stuff. So Ice brings up a really excellent point here. He says, by the time you run the circle by Tidal Basin, they reload. So he's basically saying, and we've done this, by the time you circle around and complete these, it's going to reload. It's an XP farm and a material farm. You will get everything you need here, and you can take breaks as you need. It's not punishing at all. You'll learn enemy movements, all that'll be done. If you get bored, run a mission. Go run a mission. Again, missions are also going to increase too on the difficulty, so you're going to be able to get more materials and stuff out. It doesn't really reflect here on the map. It's not showing in here, but you're going to get a lot more. I don't know why it's not showing the XP gain on that one. That doesn't make any sense. So to go over another little thing here, let's say you're trying to farm a specific gun or piece of gear because you want to optimize it out, or you're trying to fix the recal, whatever. If you hit up on the D-pad, it's behind my head so you guys can't see it. Hit up on the D-pad and you're going to get show targeted loot. That's going to show you where drops are going to happen specifically. This was added a while back. For example, here's a main mission, and it shows you the Brazos de Arcubas is going to be the increased allocation. That means the rate at which that's going to drop is much higher. Missions are easy to see without, because as you can see as I switch it back, see it shows you anyway. Shows you right where it's at. If you turn on this, though, you can see sections of the map and what they're going to drop. So this section of the map has an increased loot allocation of Foundry Bulwark. So I keep trying to look everywhere. I probably want to be doing this one if I'm looking for masks. Some are very generic. Some of these are specific. Some are just generic. Like this one here, Marakumi Industries. These change weekly, I believe. So yeah, 5 hours, this is going to update. They change weekly. Dark Zone, same thing. I generally don't go to Dark Zone to farm. It's useless. Pardon me. God, I'm getting all burpy. Petrov Defense. For me, I would probably want to farm Capitol Hill if I'm trying to get Walker and Harris Co. because it's going to drop there a lot for me. If you want mods, gear system mods are dropping in this Dark Zone level right now. So you'd want to be here if you're looking for mods. That's really the only reason to go there. Now, if you want to cheat the system a bit, you can go to the Summit, because the Summit lets you select the targeted loot. You can select one item to target, and it will increase the allocation for that. But every mission, every section, has targeted loot allocations to it. If you're looking for marksman rifles, currently the Federal Emergency Bunker is dropping those. Again, you're going to have to check your map because it changes and it's random each week. But you can see where you can use this to really help you. Strongholds are a great place to run for targeted loot because there's so many enemies. So each drop is going to have a higher rate of getting that particular item. So keep that in mind. I like how this settlement turns orange in here. I don't know what that's all. But that's how you're gonna farm specific pieces. So if you're trying to get expertise on one particular gun, then see if it's up here and start farming the hell out of that area. It's going to give you what you need. The power plant is giving... I haven't done that one yet. Power plant, I think you need a team for it. That's why I haven't done it. So that's how... This is how you farm materials, where you're going to farm stuff, all of that. You can run loops. You can just run to specific areas, whatever you want to do. I will say that doing the loop here, the West Potomac Park loop, is going to be more efficient for getting these than running missions. You're going to get more XP doing this loop here than running missions. Missions can take you, I think at a minimum, you can get in like 25 minutes if you're really good. But you got to be really careful at that too. So you can spend 25 minutes and get a quarter of the materials, or you can start farming different things on the map and getting a lot more. It's up to you how you want to do it. But in my opinion, running the Potomac loop is a great way to get levels and everything else, which means that you're going to be getting watch levels a lot faster. And that's the last point we're going to cover here, is the watch levels. So watch levels will give you a passive boost, or not passive, it's going to give you a stat boost in. I've got most of mine done. I have 10 levels each to go. Really looking forward to finishing my watch up. But for example, critical hit chance, this has a boost on it to a point. I can't see it here anymore. There it goes. Okay. So it's a 10% bonus to critical hit chance. Weapon damage. There's another 10% boost to weapon damage. It's a small boost. But if you have that 10% onto a 20 and maybe another 20, you now got a 50% boost in total. So while this seems very benign, it is very important. Additionally, where the watch is very important in endgame is if you've maxed your levels out, all of your points are going to go into scavenging. All of them. So at this point, I'm going to grab I have 1 point. I'm going to grab a shade calibration bundle. I'm going to grab one at this point. But now I'm able to get shade calibration bundles that way. And since once all these are done, you're going to get a watch level, you'll be able to get those very, very fast. So focus on also getting your watch leveled up. Get those levels ground out so you're just getting materials that you can craft into stuff. I do believe that the watch materials reset to 0 if you've used up those resources, except for the money. So once I've gotten all the calibration bundles, I can drop back down and I can start grabbing more. I think. I haven't gotten to a point where I've been able to test that fully. I'd like to see if that's the case. I think it is, though, because the numbers seem to be off, because I should have far less in the shade calibration. I have redeemed a lot of those in there. And so if we look in here under the sale items, you start to see why it's useless to buy gear, even to scrap. Why would I spend credits I can use for recalibration and stuff? Why would I spend credits when I can take these, and do something else with them? Now, the only thing worth buying in the stores, like for example, I'm going to buy the lightning rod, and I'll show you why. So we're going to go back over to... I'm going to go to the recal bench first. I want to see if I can turn it in, because there's so few. So we've already got all the pistols done. It looks like... Nope, we got here, but I don't have what I need for it. You have to have that particular attribute to be able to do stuff with it. So we're going to skip over to expertise. I'm going to go to pistol. See the exclamation point? So I can use that pistol, the lightning rod. We have nothing in it. So here's what I'm going to do. This is something you do if you have the credits to spare too. You can buy up the named items, because those are the ones that are going to matter in there. So I'm going to come into here. I'm going to buy up a bunch of these. I don't want to spend all my credits, but I'm going to buy up a bunch, because the gun of the same type is going to give you the biggest boost to what you're doing. So if you have the credits, buy those up. We're going to come over here. I marked them all as junk. We're going to go to expertise. I'm going to donate all junk. Let's see what we get. 44. So let's look at that pistol again, the lightning rod. And look at that. We got it up 2 more ranks. So each rank level goes to the expertise level's sub number. So I'm already up to 3 on that, just putting those in, which is pretty nice. If you need printer filament, generally the mods are pretty cheap. You can buy that up fairly cheap too. So really, that's the only thing the store is good for now. Before it was kind of useless. So let's look at mods. So see how cheap these are compared to, you know, the guns and stuff. This is 15. I wasted a lot of money on that. I'm going to go ahead and go into the mods here. I'm going to buy the Freedom package. I'm going to buy a couple of these up. And I'll show you why. Because printer filament is by far the most useful resource in a few sections, and it's easy to come by. As far as credits, I'm not sure how to farm credits exceptionally well. I just kind of end up with them from doing missions and stuff. So we're going to go into here. And I'm going to mark all of these. I think they give, like, the gold ones give a lot more. Let's see what we got here. It's like 30 per or something. I don't know. Nope, 96. So we've got 3 boosts we can now push into something. And I think I know where we want to use these. We're gonna pop over to here. So I'm gonna come into this expertise bench. Remember I can use 30 printer filament to boost, or I can do something else. I'm gonna go into my my drone. I'm gonna go into the fixer. Now I can upgrade it because I have the printer filament, so I'm gonna use that. It's gonna be a 1% duration. I like having that on. Ooh, my pineapple. What do we got for the pineapple? Because I need a printer filament for all of these. So the reviver, what do we got? Plus 1% range. Kind of useless actually. Having said that, because I don't use that particular one, but I'll put the duration on the fixer. Why not? Oop. I keep hitting it wrong. 1 and 2. And there you go. Now it's got it's 2% per grade level. So that's a pretty nice duration. Where that comes in handy, ice, I'm addressing ice specifically, is because, I guess everybody can use this, is when I leave my drone out, that means the duration's going to be a bit longer. So let's go look at the stat on the fixer drone now, and let's see what I've got for that. So duration is now 233.5 seconds on that. I have the 7.1 boost. What do we got? Health. I don't really care about health. What else can we put on here? Extra bombs? No good. So, and I really don't care about the damage, so I'll take that. So, unless I have a better duration, and I don't, 'cause these are specific to a skill. 15 levels today. Nice, Ice. Yeah, you're in the loops, man. You're going to get it up there. I don't know what you've been running, but you'll definitely get those loops. So, as you can see, having duration up on that is going to be really nice. I can't use the range on the pineapple necessarily. Where I would is if I switch the pineapple over to the hive that attacks, the stinger hive. That's going to be a lot better if I can get the range up on it. Again, small little changes that are going to really increase what you can do. So hopefully all of that has been useful. Go back through, review anything you don't understand, and, you know, see what you can do. See what you can improve. You know, every time I look at what I've got, I see what I can fix on here to make it just better. You know, for me, it's armor and kill, armor regen, all of that. But I have to farm the materials. And, you know, that's where when I look in here, you know, how do I do that? What am I going to need? Well, I definitely need the shade calibration bundles on everything. That's the thing that's limiting. I have all the other materials. I need shade calibration. So that means I need to go farm, you know, like I showed earlier. For me, you know, to get those, I'm going to have to go into the optimization here. I'm going to have to farm a lot of titanium. I need electronics carbon fiber titanium. But this is, again, why for me, farming the West Potomac is the best. I says mostly White House. Those 2 missions I ran with the OP guy and Heroic were worth like 5 or 6 levels. Nice. Yeah, Heroic levels pay out good too. That's endgame when you're trying to get maybe watch levels and stuff up, and you haven't done that yet, but you have a good solid build. So, but yeah, that's why I run West Potomac. I need electronics, carbon fiber, and titanium. Titanium obviously being the hardest to come by. So for me, I'm going to be farming everything I can in that area to get those materials and get it done. And then I can start optimizing more. And that's my main holdback. That's what's taking me long. That's the grind. For me, the grind is crafting materials, more specifically shade calibration bundles. That's where I'm stuck at. That's what I need to get done. And that's, you know, that's kind of where it gets difficult. So I'm going to swap back over to chat scene here. Hey, everybody. I'm going to exit for right now there. I didn't need my headphones at all. I thought I was going to need them. So I feel that's a really good overview of what endgame looks like, what you're going to want to be doing and how you're going to want to be, crafting stuff out, getting stuff boosted, all of that. That's what's going to take you a lot of the time to get done and get in place, because you have to go out and get the materials. You have to find the gear piece you want. Then you've got to optimize it, or do your recalibration, then optimize it. And all that takes crafting materials to do. So, but with the implementation of those items, I think that they went a long way to increasing the usefulness of the gear. Me and Ice used to talk all the time how there's so much garbage that you couldn't use in here. All the gear was useless once past a certain point because it wasn't really worth selling, but that's all you could really do was sell it. Yeah, you could break it down, but you weren't using a lot of components at the time. So now I feel that they've fixed that portion of the game over the course of updates they put in. You can scrap it for materials. You can put it in your recal library. You can, sell it. All of that. There's something for what you're doing. Even for the optimization now, you can use a lot of that stuff. And I feel like that's put a good amount of use where there wasn't before. And there maybe should have been. So, for reference, just put it in here if anybody's curious how long I've played Division. My total play time is 40 days, 15 hours, 58 minutes. This is one title I've put a lot of time into. This, and I think second place on mine is Fallout 76. So I've got a lot of time into these. I'm by no means an expert, but I'm hoping that by going over this, I can maybe help some people out that didn't understand this too well. Ice, I hope that clears up a lot for you, man. Hope that gets some good info into what's going on there. So if there aren't any questions, I think we're going to stop there. I'm really happy with the time. We're still below 2 hours, which is awesome. I'm trying to shorten down the Sunday stuff so it's not so long. I don't want it to be like Silverbose. But yeah, I feel really good about being able to get this out and get information out there. Again, there are videos on this. I just don't feel like they break it down enough. If you're watching this on YouTube, and again, you have any comments, leave it in the comment section. If you're on YouTube, like, share, subscribe. Would appreciate that. If you decide you want to watch another one of these streams, let me know. If you want to go back over this, you just want a straight Q&A session without me going off of a script necessarily, let me know. We can do that. Maybe dedicate an hour on a Sunday and doing that. I feel Sundays are the best days for this because everybody's going to have wide availability. So if you're wanting to know, how stuff works and you want me to go over that, I can. If you have questions on that, I'd be glad to try to explain it out. If you find something inaccurate, let me know. I'd be glad to put in the description a correction, something, annotate it in the video, whatever. I just need to know. Pretty sure everything was right on point for what it needs to be. If you know a quicker way to farm materials, definitely let me know. I'm constantly looking up videos to fix that grind, but I haven't found too many others. So far, the grind me and Ice do has been pretty efficient for stuff, and most people are saying pretty much the same thing. Grab all the faction chests, run missions, that kind of thing. Ultimately, they want you to play the game to get the materials. That makes sense. So that's where it's at there. So, but yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up there, guys. Hopefully that helps you in your mini adventures in the capital and trying to get builds done and stuff. I'm not going to explain builds. I don't think I need to further, because if you already have one in mind, great. Somebody already most likely has a build set up for you. Go view their guide and then, figure out the materials and stuff. But this is really for people just getting into the end game that maybe have picked this up, finished the story, and not sure where to go, what to do. So yeah, that's it for now, guys. I appreciate everybody showing up. Ice, thanks for that resub, man, and for hanging out. I do appreciate it. And we will be back on Monday. I don't know. We'll run some 76. I need to get more levels into 76. No, I can't because the stuff's not going to roll till Tuesday. So Tuesday, maybe 76. I think Monday, we're going to run some Dead by Daylight because it is spooky season, right? So I think we're going to run some Dead by Daylight on Monday and take a look at what that looks like. I haven't played in a while, but I've got a lot of blood points to spend and whatnot. So yeah, Monday, Dead by Daylight, guys. Tuesday, Fallout 76. Sunday, I haven't decided yet. I don't know if I want to do another discussion. Maybe do that motivational stream I was talking about. We'll see. Either way, I'll have it figured out before Sunday. But yeah, you guys have a good start to your week. And thank you again, everybody, for hanging out. Do appreciate it. And hope to see you guys again on the next stream. Later, everybody. And I'm going to do, again, as I get used to this, we're going to do the blackout and then end of stream roll. So I'll stop saying that once I get used to it. But until next time, guys. Bye.